All right, so this third deck today is another viewer submission. The viewer titled this SI Create. It is a base PNZ augment aggro deck, augment a keyword in the latest set. This is whenever you play a created card, this gets +1 attack permanently. Ballistic Bot's kind of a cornerstone in all of these augment decks. He creates an ignition every single turn, which not only pressures your opponent's life total, but also provides us a steady flow of created cards to trigger all of our augments. In addition to Bot, we have Niandroid as an elusive augment threat. We've got some copies of Viktor here, which creates hexacores every single turn to help enable our augments as well. Viktor also levels when you've played 8+ created cards, and his leveled mode makes all of your created cards cost 1 less. The touch of SI we have in this deck is largely for copies of Vengeance to be interactive, as well as Atrocity to fling our large augment units in case the board gets gummed up. We're also playing a couple cheeky copies of Sumpwork maps to give our big augment threats elusive in a pinch. And then there's a couple of copies of Warden's Prey down here at the bottom because this Last Breath trigger gives us a created Last Breath follower. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it feels. I've been skeptical of these kind of go bigger Viktor decks with things like Vengeance and Progress Day, but this deck does have a pretty aggressive slant as well with Mystic Shot, Get Excited, and Aftershock. So I'm interested to see if what we're able to put together lets us close games out efficiently, or if we're going to struggle to be interactive as the games go along. Mono by Freljord. So there was a Poro deck that was playing Vi as one of its only champions. Was around for a hot second. I'm definitely not keeping these three. I'm looking for more proactive cards. Keep Thermal Beam as a cheap piece of interaction. SI stands for Shadow Isles. It's the green region in this deck. Our regions are PNZ and SI. SI Augment is probably a better deck name for this. I wanted to include SI in the deck name because just listing the champions doesn't really give you the full details of what the deck is doing. Not interested in spending a Thermo Beam to kill a 1/1 for 1. You can take a couple of licks from this, no problem. Looks like it is in fact the Poros deck, as I was expecting. This is actually a deck similar to like the last one we just got done playing, where it has a champion in it, but it's not really a deck about champions. Scribe of Sorrows could be interesting. Yeah, I like that idea. I'm going to play out this other bot before we play this Ignition, so we can go ahead and start pumping both of these up with our created cards. Probably drop the Warden's Prey here as well.
Join me if you want to live.
Yeah, we've played the Allegiance card in a deck similar to this before. I think this deck has slightly too many SI cards to really leverage an Allegiance card properly. Like, I think you'd have to give up Warden's Prey. And I'm not sure that I want to drag the curve up that much by eliminating a 1-drop for a 4-drop.
System upgrade.
Do you have... Oh, you know what? I should have blocked with this. They're going to Poro Snacks. Yeah, this is... I took 3 points damage enough to take here. So, if I block with this, they don't have Poro Snacks, this still just dies and nothing happens here. But now they can even choose just not to attack and not to trade this. It's a pretty big mistake on my part. Yeah, opponent played this well and I did not.
Safety disengaged.
I got ways to find me mushrooms.
Piltover Enforcer on the scene.
I think I want to kill their elusive here.
for thought.
It's kind of scary. Are we just killing that? I think we just need to kill that, huh? This grants, right? Yeah, grant it. +2/+2. They play some elusive idiots out here. It'd be real bad for us. Could see a troll chant or an elixir. Assume Vi is gonna truck on into this now.
I tried being polite. Please.
Really want this to die to Vi, so I think I'm just thinking spell mana this turn. It's a nice draw. Can use the Mystic Shot to kill this. Hopefully they don't have an Elusive Poro here. If they have an Elusive Poro, our gamble on trying to Ezreal gets punished pretty badly. Yeah, it's not like a 4/4. Kill this before they play another 4/4 out. See if they have another combat trick to protect him or not. Yeah, that's scary.
I tell ya.
Does level 5 have him? She does not. She'd be really strong if she was 10-5 with Overwhelm.
I see.
And this is kind of what I was talking about in the opener, where we weren't really able to get under what this opponent put together this game in terms of game plan, and I don't really have appropriate tools to allow me to go over the top of them either.
What does he want from me? Leave me alone.
And this is that punish for not blocking this earlier, right? I don't think that mistake cost us that game. I think they were gonna be appropriately snowballed even without that punt on my part. Definitely in for Beam. I think I'm in for Ezreal too here. Bot doesn't really block him. Mulligan looking for more interaction against their deck, or more elusive threats are also good. Kyle, thank you for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Once I stamp papers, now faces.
It's a little bit of a tempo negative play, trading 3 mana for their 2 mana, but it's worth nipping their bot in the bud right away. Get Kitty out to start. That's a tempo positive exchange. They spent 5 mana on that play, and we spent 4 mana killing it, which is nice.
Don't blink, or you'll miss me.
Or you'll miss me. Am I the control deck in this matchup? I think we're the control deck in this matchup, right? So I just burn their mana here. My hand definitely says I'm the control deck. So they passed getting to end the round there instead of them getting to play more cards. Definitely feels worthwhile here.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the
Solid pandemic advice as always from my buddy Chump Wump. Put on your mask, secure your tail, start your day, chat. The old pick a card into pick a card. You love to see tires spinning like that in the morning, chat. Smell that? Smells like desperation. Get 100,000 COVID deaths in the UK today. What a morbidly depressing milestone.
Witness perfection, meatbags.
Meatbags. It's gonna be really sad when we can look back a year or two from now and they do excess morbidity calculations and we find out what the actual number of deaths is. Because all of the estimations so far are definitely on the low side based on excess death counts that we saw from early 2020. And for people that aren't familiar with what I mean when I say excess deaths, that refers to looking at the expected number of people that would die in a year and then comparing it to the number of people that actually died.
Can you improve perfection?
Well, I wonder what their hand was. Having a bunch of cheap removal seemed really great there. That's matchups where our interaction kills most of their units. Feels good. The Poros matchup that we struggled with in that first one, they had a lot of big units pretty quickly because of their Poro stacks. And their tricks gave us some trouble. I'd be really surprised. I'd be really surprised if anybody was over-reporting COVID metrics on his school based on the excess death data that we saw from early 2020. Okay, here's the best way to debunk the FUD that's been posted in chat right now. I think you're keeping all these cards, it seems fine. Will COVID deaths go down once we look at excess deaths because people were ill prior to getting COVID? So COVID makes a lot of other things worse from our understanding. A very direct comparison is if you're someone that's HIV positive and you get a cold, and a cold ends up killing you because HIV makes it worse, they count that as you died of HIV, not that you died of a cold. Because if you weren't HIV positive, you probably wouldn't have died in that instance. So COVID is similar to that from a lot of the studies that we've seen, that it makes the impact of other things worse. So saying that, well, there are people with pre-existing conditions, so they didn't really die of COVID isn't true, because a lot of those people who are dying that had pre-existing conditions wouldn't have died from that condition in the manner that they died if they hadn't also contracted COVID, making it worse.
Behold me now, hairless apes!
Those types of details are important. I think I would rather Mystic Shot this than Thermo Beam it because my opponent's deck has both Elise and Ash in it, which are 3 toughness units. I think we're just playing this, and then we have decent open attacks next turn, so we can throw some mushrooms into their deck to make Niandroid bigger, and we don't even mind running this 1/1 into here. Perfect, because we get to Mystic Shot this now. Yeah, and like, I hope your recovery goes well, Stone. You're still feeling symptoms 3 months later while recovering. Like, realistically, we're probably not going to know the full extent of how it makes people feel and long-term effects for years, right? Like, this is something new and they have to study it. A big part of science. People expect science. Are like, well, if science is real, it should tell me all the answers right away, and that's just like not how it works, right? Like, when something's new like this, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of, well, this might be the case, but we have to wait and see and actually study it and get metrics and results in. Alright, so I think we just go ahead and do this here, since this always uses all of our mana, and we conveniently have a nice 3.
Continue without me.
Our build is interesting. It's like frozen fearsomes, it looks like.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
I think I want to play this to start generating hexacores to trigger my augments next turn.
What do you know of shedding? Winter take you! You gotta believe me!
Yeah. There's some people that are experiencing mental health conditions after having COVID too. And even stuff like that feels like it could be a little bit muddy too, right? Because like the reality is that like mental health considerations are probably going to go up just generically overall because of the state of the world, right? So like that's a thing too, where like studies that are able to differentiate correlation and causation from something like that take time to actually work through and happen. So that could definitely be a side effect, but I'd be surprised if there's been studies that have been able to differentiate that with appropriate control groups and stuff like that at this point. Biology is a field where it's difficult to generate accurate results. Yeah, I'd imagine that a lot of that's going to be speculation for time to come. I know. Given my personal feelings on things, I'm better off than most, and everything that's going on in the world, definitely. I felt that, emotionally speaking. It was a big part of why I decided to take a break from Magic when I did, because having negativity in the actual job that I'm doing daily on top of everything else that's going on in the world is getting to be a bit much. We're just opening attacks here, huh? Just gonna go ahead and open here. Think I'm fine trading this for this? No, I'm not. That's a lie. Yeah, therapists are great. If you're someone that can be afforded the privilege to speak to a mental health professional when you're not feeling on the up and up, that's definitely a worthwhile thing to do. The stigmas around that in society are real bad.
Save the homestead.
Get to kill Ash here again. I wonder how big their deck goes, because like they have Ash, Babbling Berg, and Rekindler, so like they're not strictly aggressive, but they have some lower to the ground fearsome stuff as well. Well, I guess we'll keep killing these, but again, our like the controlling aspect of our deck is running out at this point, right?
Excuse you. You're kidding me.
You're kidding me. Oh, they could. Yeah, that's a good. That's probably exactly what they're doing. Mortex. The 2-drop fearsomes were throwing me off, but I'll bet you're right, and they're harrowing Ash. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's not a deck that's been super popular in recent memory, but that would make complete sense if that's what they're doing.
Right now.
Come from the dark.
Yeah, I bet that's exactly what they're playing. Which I don't. We're super dead to a harrowing next turn, right?
No one listen.
I like the idea of using Babbling Berg to fish your Ash up consistently in that archetype. It's a sweet way to do it. I bet this is the only 5+ power thing they're playing, and it always draws her. Hey, Jacob. How is your day going? You already had 3 classes?
My name is true.
You did? That's nice. Thank you for taking nice pictures with your mom.
The arrow man.
The Crystal Arrow Lady is about to beat us up. She's not on our team today.
Hey, Daddy.
Yes, Jacob.
Is that me?
Oh, we need the dragon, the Crystal Arrow on our team? Yeah.
Okay.
We did win with that yesterday. Hey, thanks for the sub gift, whoever sent that over.
A purple thingy. I got my shopping like a purple combo. Like a combo that always has.
You're heavy, 40-pound child. You can play a game. You have to switch off here, or do you have to switch out there? Okay. Whatever you want to do, my dude. If their harrowing isn't trading really bad, I mean, we have to push through there eventually, right? I don't think even if we had the harrowing there, we could beat the. This is a Ben 10 game. Want to give that one a try? Yeah, there you go. Should, give me the cartridge.
Okay.
Draven Ashnox, interesting. Hey, go have fun, bud. Definitely not keeping Atrocity here to start. I think we're keeping Chump Up and Rummage. I'm going to mulligan the Viktor as well, looking for some earlier interaction. Kind of qualifies, depending on what their threats look like. I think I'm killing this just to kind of cycle through these, because getting this up to the one that deals 3 is beneficial here, because both their champions have 3 life. So Hawk grants the top allies in their deck +1/+1. So we're gonna have some chunky monsters coming down here sometime soon.
It's Draven time. Behold me now, hairless apes.
We're just taking the hit here. I was wondering why everybody kept saying nice. We're at 1169 subs. Got it. Sorry, I was still pseudo distracted from Jacob coming in the room.
Tell me messages, hear me tales.
Suddenly there are a lot of nices. Our kitty has been culled.
Tell my tale.
Tell my tale.
Hey, buddy, what you doing?
Excuse me? Sure. Well, that could have gone better for our hero. Okay, get excited. It's a great pickup.
Let's boogie.
If they have another +2 defense, the Death Ray Mach 2 lets us cut through that as well here, which is nice. Please be greedy and double axe this to try and level him. Alright, here's hoping we can beat whatever combat tricks they have. I assume they have at least one bit of protection since they went in on this. Hopefully they don't have two. Wow! Alright, let the greed consume you, opponent.
With utmost efficiency.
Time for the main event.
Just second bigger Draven? Okay. I guess? I feel like that's still a good exchange for us. Alright, let's draw Thermo Beam here, huh? Rats. I guess that's not terrible. Ezreal's Mystic Shot plus this Get Excited kills bigger Draven.
Few are in the right to call themselves Trifarian.
Nailed it.
We'll be able to discard Viktor's Hexacore next turn to this. Hey, thank you for the Prime Zerg. I appreciate the third of the year. Welcome back. Good afternoon.
Sharpen the blades, secure the kill.
This is a backup Viktor. Feel like I'd rather use this than lose my backup Viktor.
Remember me. Line up.
Let's play the Warden's Prey out here as a chump blocker, I think.
Axes coming right up. I wanna go home.
See if we can dodge a Troll Chant again here. Okay.
Suck.
Feels like we have a shot here.
That was. Stop bragging if you can back it up. Woohoo!
You dodge a Troll Chant, you can dodge a ball. Ain't that the truth? We have to get our Augment on this turn. We've got Hexcore upgrade plus some Mystic Shots.
Only the finest serve.
Once I stamp papers, now faces.
Looking to dodge a Reckoning now?
Violence. Once I stamp papers, now faces. Our goals are greater than petty violence. Yes, of course.
Oh, if I sequence this the other way, Ezreal will be leveled and we deal with damage, right? Technically missed a point. Recently got VR and dodging bullets has never been better. God bless.
Another brilliant design.
Sure. Maybe I'm supposed to point this at, or the Mystic Shot at this, so that way I could use this in response. Or use this to kill it as well. Oh, that's a created card too, right? Well. Viktor's real close to leveling here.
Better is perfection. Analyzing approach.
All the world on one arrow.
How do we feel about death raying this for the Abomination? I think I'm into it.
Another brilliant design. Behold!
So cold.
It could be a Noxian Fervor deck. I feel like I can't leave myself dead to Fervor. Sad as that is. So these are gonna put Viktor to 11 and them to 16. We're hoping. Oh, these are gonna put Viktor to 12 actually, right? Because he's gonna level.
As humanity ends, the machines rise. Another brilliant design.
Easy lethal, just roll elusive with the Viktor upgrade. Yeah, exactly. See, you understand. They're an Ashe deck as well, though, so like Atrocity's like really bad against Ashe, right?
Electroplating completed.
Didn't hit elusive or lifesteal. Never lucky, chat. Never lucky.
Gotcha.
Genius in action. Publish or perish. Yes, of course.
I'm not dead yet.
Incinerate.
I was just...
Genius.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
Genius in action. No materials, no
Spell shield.
Winter, take.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, I mean, we had to, right? I guess I could have played this for the last point. I could have opened attacks and played this, I guess. Yeah, we're not just dead. Atrocity technically kills them this turn. If they don't have another frostbite, we can kill them. Yep. I'm gonna give this one more shake, but this feels like the kind of the classic problems that put me off with all the other mid-range Viktor decks that we've played. The only Viktor deck I've played to date that's felt remotely competitive is Zoe Viktor, with the gem mechanic allowing you to be fairly aggressive. These trying to go long just doesn't feel particularly good. We would have won in the summer. Well, not quite early. The stream started a little bit late today.
That I am superior life form. Primed and ready.
Time for a true display of skill.
Oh, it is BBG. Look at that. I'm not used to being able to queue into folks. We queued into Nick yesterday too. Usually we hang out in Platinum. Usually we hang out in Platinum and Diamond.
For silver I thought, for gold I fixed it. One shot, all
And then we can rummage the ignition and the Mystic Shot here. Zoe Victor's problem is it's a Zoe deck that only incidentally has Victor. I don't think that's true. I think Victor's a fine piece of top end in that archetype. Based on the supporting cards that Victor has so far, I think Victor is ideally suited for situations where he's a he's the top end of your deck. He's not just a card that just sits there and goes long.
Sure.
I'll buy you some time.
Inferior design.
I think I'm gonna block here plus Death Ray. Keep my life total up. I'm gonna let the blocks happen first. I think I'm fine with this dying at this point.
Prime and ready.
Stop bragging if you can back it up. Gotcha.
Vengeance is a good pickup because they could have Swain this turn.
Join the glorious
We'll play Victor out here before we Mystic Shot because Mystic Shot's a created card, so it'll trigger his augment for us, which is nice.
Deal me in.
Safety disengaged.
Firing.
I guess I technically don't have enough mana to Vengeance a Swain at this point. But they tell Victor to get flocked here, we could be in trouble. Probably what's gonna happen. We're only on 6 mana this turn, so our Vengeances are out. Swain's not leveled yet. It is a saving grace. They could Swain and level him though.
By my hand, Noxus rise.
Yeah. We're probably dead here.
Leave them nothing.
I guess I could have played this and then had Death Ray. Yeah, I don't think he can take this pass.
Lead on Noxus. Victory awaits. Flesh is a weakness we must shed. Ingenious. You still cling to flesh and fur?
Even the greatest mind likes pets.
And our deck doesn't have a way to heal in it the way it's constructed, so like once our opponent starts dropping Leviathans here, we're just gonna die very quickly. We have Vengeance for the first one at least, I suppose. Hexacore here to pump this up before we get in there.
Energy core upgrade.
Could bumping Hexacore to fast improve Victor a bit? Could it be burst even? Like would that be, that's not too good, right? If it was burst speed?
Such little lives.
They own me mask, secure me tail, start the day.
I like the idea of changing its speed a lot though. That's not an adjustment I thought about for him.
After the battle.
Hey, Mafia, thank you for the sub gifts. Good afternoon. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Gem speed, sure. Yeah, I agree gem speed is ideal. They really need to keyword that. Gem speed desperately needs to be keyworded. This is the part where I vengeance this and mock this, and then they play Leviathan and I die. I would assume that's how this is gonna play out.
The bead, it will be mine.
exactly one more vengeance. I'm gonna be done with this one. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna take any other Viktor decks until his package, aside from the Viktor gems that we talked about that I think is reasonable. These mid-range Viktor decks are just always disappointing. Like the interactive tools that this deck has just aren't enough to give you enough longevity to go toe-to-toe with the other mid-range and control decks in the format, and we just don't have the aggression with Ezreal and Viktor to get under those other decks consistently. And the other thing that's important too is, like, one of the reasons why Viktor's good in the Zoe Viktor deck is he gets to play Bastion to consistently have a way to give him Spell Shield to protect your kind of eggs in the basket threat. So this deck didn't have the tools to go long, didn't feel like it had what it needed to get under people consistently. So it was a miss for me, like a lot of these mid-range Viktor decks have been a miss for me. Viktor better as an 06? Nah, probably not. Having a stat line's pretty important. I guess he technically builds himself a stat line. I don't know. I feel like you need at least 1 point of power to start. All right. At any rate, I think that's going to be it for me for Runeterra stuff for the day. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. If you're new to the channel here, I'm here 5 to 6 days a week usually. I often do 2 to 4 Runeterra decks per day. I also have a couple of YouTube channels that you can check out, one of which I post a deck highlight video on every single day of the week. It's a 20 to 30 minute video with a deck tech, a wrap up, and then a couple of games highlighting what the deck is doing. I also have another channel where I post full stream archives, so I stream a ton. So if you want to sort through which decks are good or bad for yourself and evaluate them without me picking out the best, that's the best place to do that. In addition to doing Runeterra and other turn-based strategy games, I also do some single-player story-driven stuff. So we started God of War on the PlayStation yesterday.